Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of English Over Tea. Listen and speak. I'm your host, Anna, and I am currently sipping on some very hot peppermint tea. How about you, Dan? What's in your cup today?
Hey, Anna. Hi, everyone. Well, I'm actually having some green tea today, but it's a bit cold now because I got a little distracted before we started recording.
Oh no, a distracted co host? That doesn't sound like you, Dan. What was on your mind?
Well, it actually fits our topic for today perfectly. I was at the store earlier, right? And I was looking at these very bright neon green socks. I really wanted them. They were so cool. But then I saw a group of teenagers nearby, and they were laughing, probably at a joke. But I suddenly thought, oh no, if I buy these socks, they're going to think I'm so weird.
Wait, so did you buy them?
No, I put them back and walked away really fast. And then 2 minutes later, I felt so silly. Why do I care what a group of strangers thinks about my socks?
Oh, Dan, I think every single person listening can relate to that. That is exactly what we are talking about today. Social pressure. It's that feeling like you have to act a certain way or look a certain way because of the people around you.
Exactly. It's like your brain is constantly asking, what will they think of me? It happens at work, at school, and even at the supermarket with neon socks.
Poor Dan. Before we dive deep, let's look at a phrase Dan used. He said he wanted to fit in.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Fit in. Fitin. This is a multi-word phrase we use a lot in English. It means to feel like you belong in a group or like you are a part of the team. Like if everyone at your office wears suits and you wear a suit too, you are trying to fit in.
Right. And while fitting in can feel safe, sometimes we lose a little piece of ourselves to do it. We might hide our true music taste or our opinions just to be like everyone else.
I totally did that in school. I liked this really strange band, lots of flutes and electronic drums, and I never told anyone. I pretended to like the popular pop songs instead. It's actually kind of sad when you think about it.
It is, but it's very normal. Humans are social animals. Our brains are actually programmed to say, hey, don't do anything weird, just blend in.
Blend in, that's another good one. It means to look or act the same as everything around you so no one notices you, like a chameleon.
Exactly. But here's the funny thing, Dan. Scientists actually have a name for that feeling you had with the socks. They call it the spotlight effect.
The spotlight effect, like a big bright light on a stage?
Yes, exactly. Imagine you're on a stage and there's a big bright light shining only on you. You feel like everyone in the audience is watching your every move. But in real life, there is no spotlight.
So you mean those teenagers weren't actually judging my sock choices?
Most likely, they didn't even notice you were there. Research shows that we believe people notice us much more than they actually do. We are the main characters in our own stories, so we think everyone else is watching our story too. But really, they're busy being the main characters in their own stories.
Wow, that is actually very freeing. If no one's really watching that closely, then I can wear my green socks.
Exactly. But it's hard to remember that in the moment. When you're in a meeting and you have a dumb idea, you stay quiet because you're afraid people will size you up.
Oh, let's pause there. Size someone up. That's a great phrase. Anna, what does that mean exactly?
To size someone up means to look at them and quickly form an opinion about them, like deciding if they are smart or cool or weird in just a few seconds.
Right, like when you walk into a cafe alone and you suddenly don't know what to do with your hands because you think everyone is sizing you up.
Yes, you think they're saying, look at that person, they have no friends. But honestly, they're probably just thinking about their own sandwich.
I've definitely felt that. I call it getting in my own head.
Oh, that's another perfect phrase for our listeners, to get in your own head. It means to think too much about something until you confuse yourself or stop yourself from acting. Like, I have a great idea for this project, but what if it's stupid? What if they laugh? You are getting in your own head.
Guilty as charged. I did that last week in a meeting. I had an idea, I stayed quiet, and then 10 minutes later, my coworker said the exact same thing and everyone loved it. I sat there thinking, that was my idea. I was just too worried about what they would think.
Oh no, see, social pressure actually stops us from doing useful things. Marcus Aurelius, he was a very famous Roman emperor and philosopher, once said that worrying about what others are doing or thinking keeps you from focusing on your own mind.
So it's like a prison?
In a way, yes. If you are always trying to satisfy what other people expect, you become a prisoner to their idea of you. You trade your whole life for a little bit of security, but it's not real security.
That's deep, Anna. I think I need a sip of my cold tea to process that.
Go ahead. We have a lot more to talk about, especially how social media makes this spotlight feel even brighter.
Oh boy, the like button. That's a whole different level of pressure.
It really is. But before we get into that, let's take a quick breath.
So, Anna, before the break, you mentioned social media. I have to admit, I am definitely a victim of the scroll. I'll post a photo of my dinner, which usually looks way better than it tastes, and then I check my phone every 5 minutes to see if anyone liked it.
We all do it, Dan. There's no judgment here, but that is exactly what we call validation. Validation, Validation, is when you look for approval from other people. It's like they're saying, yes, your dinner is cool and you are cool.
It feels great for a second, but if I don't get those likes, man, I start to get in my own head. I think, is the photo bad? Am I boring? It's like giving a stranger the remote control to my mood.
Exactly. And it leads to what people call the comparison game. This is a great phrase for our listeners, the comparison game. It's when you look at someone else's life online and think their life is perfect while yours is, well, messy. But you're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel.
Oh, that's so true. Nobody posts a photo of themselves eating cereal on the sofa in old clothes at 10 p.m. They only post the vacation or the fancy sunset.
Right. And trying to stand out, that means to be different or special so people notice you for the sake of others is just exhausting. You can't make everyone happy because everyone wants something different.
But, okay, let me play devil's advocate for a second. Is caring what people think always bad? I mean, if I didn't care at all, I might show up to this recording in my pajamas or say something really rude to you.
Please don't wear pajamas to work, Dan. But you're right. Sarah from the Everyday English Academy had a great analogy for this. She said, caring is like salt. A little bit of salt makes food taste better, but too much ruins the whole meal.
I love that. So, a little bit of caring keeps us polite and helps us respect others' feelings. But when it becomes too much, that's when you become a people pleaser.
Exactly. Let's break that down. A people pleaser. This is a person who always tries to make others happy, even if it makes them unhappy. They say yes when they really want to say no.
I used to be such a people pleaser. I would agree with everyone just to fit in. It's tiring. At the end of the day, you feel empty because you spent the whole day being someone else.
It really is like a prison. Marcus Aurelius, remember that Roman emperor we mentioned? He said that when you are attached to what people think, you are a prisoner to their idea of you. You trade your whole life for a little bit of security.
The security of a prisoner. That's a heavy thought. You feel safe because you're doing what people expect, but you aren't actually free to be yourself.
Right. And being yourself is actually the most useful thing you can do. Think about a tree. It doesn't try to be a cloud or a rock. It just grows, produces oxygen, and makes fruit because it is being a tree. When we try too hard to satisfy expectations, we're like a tree trying to grow without sunlight.
So, how do we break out of this prison?
Well, it starts with integrating the things we are afraid of. Carl Jung, a very famous psychologist, talked about this a lot. He said we often wear a persona. A persona, persona, is like a mask we wear for collective convenience. It's the version of us that is well adjusted and strong for society.
So, I'm wearing a Dan the Cool co host mask right now?
Maybe, but Jung says that behind that mask, we have shadows, fears, flaws, and insecurities that we hide because we're afraid of being judged. But the more you run from those feelings, the more power they have over you.
That makes sense. It's like if I'm afraid of people thinking I'm weird for my green socks, that fear controls where I shop and what I wear. I'm a puppet.
Exactly. Jung believed that true strength isn't about being untouchable or cold. It's about owning every part of yourself, the beautiful parts and the shameful parts. When you embrace your own flaws, no one can use them against you.
That sounds like what David Goggins says. He's this incredibly tough guy, a former Navy SEAL, and he says you have to be unapologetic about who you are.
Unapologetic. That's a powerful word. It means you don't feel the need to say sorry for being yourself. Goggins says that many of us fail because we're so afraid of what others are thinking. We put other people on a pedestal.
Oh, I know that phrase. To put someone on a pedestal means to act like they are better or more important than you. Goggins realized that the people judging him were usually just as messed up as he was, they just hid it better.
They just hit it better. That's such a great way to look at it. It takes the pressure off. If everyone is a bit of a mess, then why am I trying so hard to look perfect for them?
Exactly. Goggins says you have to face the real you in a dark room, meaning you have to be honest about your insecurities, like his stutter or his weight. Once you accept those things, you can start your real journey because you no longer care about the judgment.
It's all about building that internal core. But I think we should talk about the practical side of this too. It's one thing to say, don't care, but how do we actually do it when we're feeling that pressure in the moment?
Good point. My brain is already starting to tell me stories about how uncool my green socks are again.
We'll get into some survival strategies for social pressure next. All right, Dan, I want to get into the how to. How do we actually stop being puppets?
Yeah, because it's one thing to say, I don't care, but when you're standing in a meeting and your heart is beating fast, it's hard to just be cool.
Exactly. One of the best tips from the Everyday English Academy is to learn how to shrug things off.
Oh, shrug, SHRUG, like when you move your shoulders up and down?
Precisely. To shrug something off means to act like something doesn't bother you and just keep going. If someone makes a mean comment about your hair or your shoes, instead of thinking about it for 3 days, you just shrug. You move on. It's not that important.
I love that. It's like a muscle, right? The more you do it, the stronger you get. But sometimes I find that the noise in my head is louder than the people outside.
That's where David Goggins has a very tough piece of advice. He says we have to face the real us in a dark room.
A dark room? That sounds a bit, spooky.
Well, it's a metaphor. He means you have to sit alone with yourself and be 100% honest. He says, I stuttered. I was overweight. I felt dumb. He didn't try to hide it with a fancy mask or a persona. He looked at those jacked up parts of his life and accepted them.
Jacked up. That's a very common slang phrase. Jacked up means something is messy, broken, or not right. Like, my car is totally jacked up, or my schedule is jacked up today.
Right. And Goggins says once you accept your jacked up parts, you can start your journey because you aren't afraid of people finding out your secrets. You just own it.
Own it. We should explain that one. To own it means to accept who you are with confidence without saying sorry. If you like a weird band from school like I did, you just say, yeah, I like them. So what?
Exactly. And what's funny is that we usually respect people more when they own it. We think, wow, they are so brave for being themselves. But really, they just stopped trying to fit in.
But wait, if I stop caring at all, do I become a bit of a jerk? Like, if my friends tell me I'm being rude, should I just shrug it off?
That's a great question, Dan. Goggins says you need a support staff, people who are honest and truthful with you. You don't want people who just kiss your butt. You want people who will tell you, hey, you're being lazy today, or that wasn't a smart move.
Ah, okay. So I shouldn't listen to the haters, the strangers who just want to judge me, but I should listen to the people who truly care about my growth.
Right. This leads us to social health. This is a term from Casley Killam's TED Talk. She says that while we focus on our bodies and our minds, we often forget our relationships.
So it's not just about me versus the world.
No, not at all. In fact, being lonely is as bad for you as smoking. Disconnection triggers stress and weakens your immune system. So the goal isn't to be a lonely mountain man who hates everyone. The goal is to find your tribe.
I like that. So how do we build this social health while still staying true to ourselves?
She has a great rule called the 5-3-1 guideline. It's very simple. First, try to interact with 5 different people each week. These could be friends or even just the barista at the coffee shop.
Wait, a stranger?
Yes, research shows that just smiling and making eye contact with a stranger makes you feel like you belong to a community.
Okay, I can do that. What's the three?
Strengthen at least 3 close relationships. These are the people you can be your true, unmasked self with. You should schedule regular time with them. Face to face is best.
And the one?
Spend 1 hour a day on meaningful connection. Instead of scrolling on social media and playing the comparison game, call a family member or write a thank you card.
That sounds much better than checking my lakes for the 10th time today.
It's like building a shield made of real friends, so the opinions of strangers don't hurt as much.
Exactly. When you have a strong core of people who know the real you, the spotlight effect starts to fade away. You realize that you don't need the whole world to clap for you. You just need a few people who truly see you.
That's actually really beautiful, Anna. It's about balance, being unapologetic about who I am, but also being intentional about who I let into my life.
Spot on.
But there's one more thing Marcus Aurelius said that I want to mention. He said we shouldn't waste our time worrying about what others are doing unless it helps the common good.
The common good.
It means things that help everyone, like being kind or helpful. If your worrying isn't helping anyone, it's just keeping you from focusing on your own mind.
So my neon socks, definitely not for the common good.
Well, they might make someone smile.
Dan, I have to say, I'm feeling a bit more unapologetic already. How about you?
Honestly, I'm ready to go back to that store and buy every pair of neon green socks they have. I realized I was putting those random teenagers on a pedestal, acting like their opinion of my feet was more important than my own happiness.
Exactly. And that's a great phrase to remember. Put someone on a pedestal. It means to admire someone so much that you think they are perfect or much better than you. When we do that with strangers, we give them way too much power over our lives.
We really do. But, it's funny. I tried to own it once before. I went to a very fancy party, the kind with tiny food and classical music, and I decided to be the real me. I started telling these really long, detailed stories about my favorite video games.
Oh no, Dan. Did they like it?
Well, I thought I was being unshakable, but I realized I was just being a bit of a talker. People were slowly backing away toward the snack table. I was so busy trying to not be a people pleaser that I forgot to actually listen to anyone else.
Oh, Dan. Well, that's where the salt comes in again, right? We want to be ourselves, but we still want to be kind and polite. Carl Jung said that the goal isn't to be perfect, but to be whole.
To be whole. I like that. It means accepting the part of me that loves video games, but also the part that needs to learn when to stop talking.
Right. It's about integrating those different parts of yourself so you aren't just reacting like a puppet to everyone else. When you know your own shadows, your flaws, and your weird habits, then a stranger's comment can't really touch you because you've already embraced it yourself.
That takes a lot of courage. Goggins says you have to get after it every day to build that kind of self-respect.
Let's stop there. Get after it. This is a great, very strong English phrase. To get after it means to work very hard with a lot of energy and determination to reach a goal. You don't just wait for confidence to happen, you get after it by facing the things that scare you.
Like facing the dark room of your own mind. Goggins says that's where you find the strength to walk out and face the world without caring if people get you or not.
It really is a journey. So let's do a quick recap for everyone listening today. First, remember the spotlight effect. People are usually too busy thinking about their own story to judge yours.
Second, watch out for the validation trap on social media. Don't let a like button decide if you have a good day.
Third, avoid being a people pleaser. It's exhausting to live for others and you end up feeling empty. Instead, try to be unapologetic about who you are.
And finally, use the 5-3-1 guideline for your social health. Interact with 5 people, strengthen 3 close bonds, and spend 1 hour a day really connecting.
That is a perfect plan. Marcus Aurelius said that worrying about what others think keeps you from doing anything useful. So let's all try to be more useful by being our true selves.
I love that. And hey, if being my true self means wearing neon green socks and talking about flutes and electronic drums, then so be it.
We support you, Dan. To all our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today on English Over Tea. We hope this episode helped you feel a little more confident and gave you some great new phrases to practice.
Yeah, if you're ready to stop living on autopilot, let us know in the comments. Write the phrase, "I choose awareness," if you're ready to start your own journey of being yourself.
We love reading your stories, so please share. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next chat.
Stay confident, stay curious, and remember, nobody is watching as much as you think.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.